Yo, what's good everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back to another video. The Tamron 17-28 is undoubtedly one of the most popular ultra-wide zooms for Sony users. I already put out a technical review on this lens where I go over things like sharpness, distortion, sun stars, things like that. But I thought it would be helpful for you guys to see how this lens performs in real life situations. So for today's photo walk behind the scenes video, I will be shooting exclusively with the 17-28 on my Sony a7 III. I'll be talking through my thought process, some of the pros and cons, and of course you will see both the bad and the good images to see what this lens is capable of. With that said, let's just get started. So today I started my photo walk by this elevated train track, and you'll see this is a reoccurring theme throughout the video. The vision I had for this specific shot was to wait for a train to come around the corner as a person is crossing the street. I frame up the shot and now I'm just waiting for the train to come. This intersection wasn't too busy today, but with a stroke of luck, the train came and this guy actually crossed the street at the same time. I ended up with this shot, which looks pretty much spot on to the image that I had envisioned in my mind. So I continue with my photo walk and I see this pretty tree with the light filtering through the yellow leaves. I quickly captured this shot as the guy walked into the pool of light. It's a pretty dramatic shot, but the frame is a bit busy and the composition could be better. So I walked to the side a bit to try and get a better composition. From this angle, I could see the sun, and I thought it would be really cool to have a sun star in the shot. So I stopped my aperture down to f/22, and I saw this woman walk into the light, and I captured this shot. She is silhouetted by the nice warm light, and this is a much better image than the last one due to the added visual interest from that sun star. I walk to the end of the block, and as I'm waiting to cross the street, I spot this guy in a bright yellow jacket on the opposite street corner. He was leaning against the wall, and there was these slices of light coming through the overhead tracks, creating interesting shadows. Since he wasn't moving, you can see that I used a touch focus on my a7 III to really nail that focus. I love this shot because it conveys such a casual and calm mood. It captured a moment of New York City without all the crazy cabs, crowds, and chaos. Since I was using the Tamron 17-28, I thought it would be cool to get under the tracks and shoot upwards, having the tracks above me in the frame. I spot this guy riding his bike towards me, so I quickly snap this shot. It's a pretty cool composition with the three bridges leading into the distance, and you get these stripes of light and shadow across the floor. So I walk forward a few more steps and I'm just waiting for people to cross the street. I ended up taking this shot, and by no means is it a good one, but there was really something interesting about the way the light looks. It's relatively harsh and you can tell by the shadow of the cone, but still looks diffused at the same time if you look at the overhead bridge in the top right corner. So now that I got some shots from under the bridge, I wanted to change it up and go above to get some shots looking down at the street. I went up the stairs to the elevated platform. When I got up here, I saw this long tunnel with the light at the end, creating these silhouettes as people were walking through. I started in the middle, but the composition was pretty boring, so I ended up moving to the side where I got these cool reflections off the wall. After exiting the tunnel, I see an overlook where I can point my camera down at the street, and I ended up capturing this shot. This is probably one of my favorite shots from this walk. I just love how there's only two people crossing the street and they're at opposite ends. This is another example where I was really happy to have the wide angle focal length of this lens, because with a normal lens like a 35 or 50mm, there was no way I could have gotten both sides of this crosswalk. Like the guy in the yellow jacket, it has a minimalistic, calm feel and really invites you to think about these characters and what their story is. I then spot this series of frames and noticed a couple at the far end. I waited for people to clear and I took this shot of the frames leading into the couple. This is a really powerful image and the colors of the shrubs work so well with the frame. I wanted to get another shot of the couple centered, so I walked forward through the frames. With 17mm, I purposely stood really close to the frame to exaggerate that depth effect while still keeping the entire frame in the shot. And as people cleared, I got this shot, where there was only the last frame around the couple. I think this one is even better because the single frame kind of shows that picture perfect image in a real life literal frame. After this, I went back down to street level, and as I'm coming around a corner, I noticed this group of guys sorting packages on the sidewalk. I thought this was a really interesting image, since these guys didn't have the typical UPS or FedEx clothing on. There was so many packages, and it's a really strong documentary style shot. So I kept walking, and now it's nearing the end of my photo walk. As I'm walking towards the station, I notice this bright orange wall with a sharp angle of light across the street. I really wanted someone to walk through this light, so I waited around for the perfect subject. Finally, this woman in these beautiful orange robes walked by, and I captured the last shot of the photo walk. The color of her clothes fits really nicely into the color palette of this image. I also love how the light is hitting her face, yet her bottom half is in shadow. It's a super contrasty shot and a great way to end the day. Alright, so I hope you liked that video. As you saw, I was super focused on capturing those moments centered around people. But I want to make another behind the scenes video where I take the Tamron 17-28 and go explore some really cool spaces and architecture. So let me know if you want to see that video. I'm still a really new content creator on YouTube. So if you like what you see and want to support my channel, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe. It would mean a lot. And before you leave, please hit that like button and drop a comment down below to let me know how I'm doing and what I can do to make my videos better. Thanks again for watching and see you next time. Peace.